Hello and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review on my new Keis 901 heated gloves. I'll be comparing them to my 701s, which I've had for about a year now. It's quite a cold day today. It's between 0 and 2 degrees, so I'm going to go out on the bike for a couple of hours, wear them back to back, and then come back and give you guys an idea of how they function, how they compare with each other. So if you're looking for a pair of heated gloves, just to give a little bit of an insight into which ones I think are best and the best scenarios for how they work. When I was looking for heated gloves, there was nothing like this on the internet, so I just pretty much just sort of guessed on sort of what to go for. Read good reviews on the 701s, and I've had them for about a year now, but I've just upgraded to the 901s. So I really just wanted to explain the difference between both sets of gloves. I'm not sponsored by Keis in any way. I paid for these gloves out of my own pocket. It's just an honest opinion on how I think the gloves work.
So one thing that's impressed me right from the off with my Keis gloves is that they are very well made. And I was the same with my 701s when I got those out the box. Compared to the cheap sort of eBay gloves that I'd bought in the past, when I first started motorbiking, obviously couldn't afford decent gloves, so I just got, relatively sort of inexpensive set off eBay, but the quality shows. And you can see with these, I mean, they are very, very well made. Slight different to the 701s. I'll go and get the 701s now and add them to the video so you can see a comparison between the two. These being the 901s, the extreme version, so they should be warmer compared to the 701s. But again, like I said, straight out the box, they're a really, really, really good quality glove. So we've got my 701s next to my new 901s there. The 701s now I've had for over a year. They're a bit gnarly, they've obviously been well used. The differences between the two, they are the same size glove, as in they're both large, but you can see that the 901s have a slightly longer cuff. I think that's to do with the ability to put the batteries in to run these with the separate batteries that you can use, as well as plugging them into the power source. Across the top of the glove, across the fingers, you've got obviously the protection there. Slightly more protection on the 901s compared to the 701s. Both got the same sort of knuckle protection there, just slightly style different. Then as you come down the glove, you've got the power supply. This is a simple three-way switch, high, medium, low, same on both there. But you will notice with the 901s, they have moved the switch to the inside of the glove, whereas on the 701s it's centered. I don't really know what difference that's going to make on the bike. I didn't find there was any issue with the power switches on the 701s. They're quite accessible. When you're riding, they don't really put you under any kind of danger when you're trying to switch them on and off. I can only assume that they've put them on the insides of the gloves on the 901s just to make it sort of easier and slightly closer when you come across the bike to switch them on or off. But to be honest with you, I can't really see the difference between pressing there or pressing there. These are the power, your power inputs. They both work off the supplied power cable, and they come with a Y cable as well if you're using them without the jacket. The Y cable goes up through your jacket, plugs directly into these, and then that then plugs at the base of that into the power cable that you run off the bike. As I said with the 901s, you do have the option to buy the extra batteries, so you don't need to run it off the bike. But if you're anything like me, I always forget to charge my phone up, so charging batteries up to take with me is not really going to work, because I know that I'd put them in the glove and I'd forgot to charge them. So I always run mine off the power cable directly off the bike. Now, if you do decide to buy a jacket, which we've got there, this is how I run work the gloves. They actually, as you can see there, connect directly to the jacket itself via the plugs via the sleeves, and then the controller and jacket then plugs into the supplied power cable that you get there. That's the option that I run with the bike, and I find it works really well. the combined jacket and gloves, you know, it does warm you up enough to effectively keep the rest of your body warm, especially if you've got a decent pair of motorcycle trousers anyway that are quite wind resistant. I've found that that's enough for me when I'm riding. If we turn the gloves over, you can see again there's more leather on the 901s. Again, it's just fabric on the 701s. They've both got the same sort of palm support there. So obviously, if you do have a slide, you know, and you're dragging your hands down there, that's going to help. They've both got the middle fastener there. The difference really with the Keis 901s compared to the 701s, they've got the longer cuff. They've got this fold over strap as well. And it's going to be interesting to see how these work on the bike. I did have an issue with these getting them on or underneath my jacket. Trying to find the right sort of combination of where to sit the cuff was a bit of a pain in the arse. It's not a downside really, it just how they worked with my jacket. So it'll be interesting to see whether this improves that or not. Like I said, it's not a deal breaker. It depends on what jacket you're kind of wearing. So one thing I am going to do today, and I'm quite lucky really with the weather, is it's actually quite cold. It's between 0 and 2 degrees today. I've got about an hour's ride to do either direction, both motorway and country lanes. I don't know if you can see it there, it's still quite frosty on the grass. So it's going to give me a really good idea of the comparison between the two. So after doing the journey to my workshop and back today, as I said, the temperatures were between sort of 0 and 2 degrees. The first part of the journey out there, I had the 901s on. They were brand new, so I couldn't wait to wear them, to be honest. And the second part of the journey home, I had the 701s on. Temperatures pretty much stayed the same. They were consistent between 0 and 2 degrees. First part of the journey was about 20 to 25 minutes on the motorway, sat at 75 miles an hour. The latter part of the journey was through town and through some country lanes, averaging sort of 20 to 50, I'm guessing. And then obviously that was reversed. I followed the exact same journey back with the 701s. What I noticed on the way out there, particularly with the wind chill factor, my 901s, my hands stayed absolutely warm throughout. At no point did I feel there was any need to turn on my heated grips. At no point did my hands feel cold. At no point did my fingertips feel cold. They managed to deal with that wind chill factor extremely well. So overall, for my £210, I'm absolutely over the moon with those. The 701s, as I expected, when I wore them on the way back, this is the coldest day we've had sort of in England for a long time. They just couldn't deal with it. Like I said, I was riding it between 0 to 2 degrees. The first part of the journey through the country lanes and into the town was fine. My hands weren't cold. They weren't warm either, but they weren't cold. So they did the job from that point of view. However, as soon as I hit the motorway, this is where these just fell apart basically. They couldn't deal with the wind chill factor. That sort of 20 minutes, half an hour up the motorway, sat at a constant speed. By the time I got back home after that sort of 20 minutes, half an hour, my fingers were numb. I really got to a point at one point where I thought I was going to, need to turn on my heated grips just to get some feeling back in my fingers. So that really is the difference between the two. So if I just bring the laptop in there, you can see on the Keis website that they do a comparison list between the gloves. And this is where I fell down really with the 701s, because I hadn't read this. I just looked at the reviews on the sales sites like Sports Bike shopping places like that. And you can clearly see on there that the 701s are rated as a medium heat, where the 901s are rated as extreme heat. And that really is the difference between the two. The 701s don't have the heating capacity or the capacity to deal with the wind chill factor to make them function as a winter glove, where the 901s deal with both extremely well. So to sum everything up, The 901s for me are I think the winter gloves that we're missing out of the Keis range. They really have done well at producing these. They're incredibly well made. They function really well on the bike in cold temperatures. At no point did my hands get cold. They deal with the wind chill factor, which I think is the main thing with the winter glove. It doesn't matter how warm they are inside. If they can't deal with the wind chill, you're going to lose the heat. And these do deal with that extremely well. So at no point during my ride did I get cold hands at all. The 701s for me, I've had these for a year now, like I said. Would I buy them again? Absolutely. But you have to understand where they work. For me, you're talking temperatures between the sort of 5 to 12 degree mark. So they are, for me, a 3-season glove, sort of spring, summer, autumn. If you're riding in those conditions where the temperature's not really dropping below 5 degrees, you could buy the 701s and you'll be absolutely over the moon with them. But if you are looking for a particular set of winter gloves that's going to keep your hand warm, whatever conditions that you ride in, go for the 901s. There's only 20 quid difference between the two, so it's negligible really. But that was the whole reason of me doing this video, just to show people the difference between the two. Okay, so that's my review on the Keis 901 and 701 gloves. I hope you found it useful. And if you did, please hit the subscribe button and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.